Is this thing on?
Are you happy now?
Yeah.
Right. Welcome back to the Summer Loving Podcast.
Sorry, guys. I just really wanted to do that to start.
Yeah. Right. Cool.
Intrusive thoughts took over.
Clearly.
I had to do it.
There
was no other way to start this episode.
Whatever makes you happy, I don't mind. But yeah, welcome back. I hope you guys are all well. For those of you who don't know, it is your favorite husband and wife duo. My name is Hassan. I am the husband, and this is.
I'm Summer. I'm the wife.
And yeah, and we're here to bring good vibes to your week. We're here to talk about loads of random stuff. We got some cool stuff that we're going to be talking about today.
Hopefully some food for thought and hopefully some really cool recommendations.
Yeah, no, definitely. And let's get right into it.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting off today. So I went onto my Instagram and I put a little message out to the boys and I was like, right, guys, I need you to tell me your biggest icks with girls or when dating girls. What turns you off straight away?
Right.
We said in a few weeks we will probably do the reverse where we'll get the girls' icks as well. But
we just need a few weeks to prepare because I know that the girls' list is going to be
definitely
long.
Do you know what would be interesting? It would be funnier
the
if
icks are just never ending. Also, there's just always something else that a guy will do and you're like, oh, don't do that.
Right, so should we get into it?
We'll give you your airtime now and then it's fine.
The girls will get us back, I'm sure.
You know, we can definitely get them back.
Right, okay. So the first one that I saw which made me laugh was the amount of hair they leave around the house.
Oh god. Listen,
then I just want to quote, like living with a gerbil.
A gerbil?
I thought more of like a dog would probably be
maybe
maybe
a
cat.
Cats do molt as well.
Yeah, dogs molt as well. Dogs shed.
Yeah, but I think cats...
I mean, I wouldn't compare a girl to a dog, but yeah, it's just...
Yeah,
it's
you're
just
really
so funny.
treading in, like, careful territory there. Like, just stop talking.
Right, so yeah.
It's not our fault. We shed... Also, your hair goes through cycles. There's, like, certain times of the month where your hair is just shedding more.
I never knew that.
Like, now, even between, like, summer and autumn is, like, a big, like, shedding time.
Really? I thought that would be between spring and summer because it's getting hotter, so you're getting rid of it.
No, I don't think so. Well, anyway, my hair's just always falling out, so enjoy.
Oh yeah, well I know that by our bedroom floor, it's just there's more hair than carpet.
I mean, there's nothing that we can do. There's nothing that you can do about it.
No.
Even if your hair is super healthy, it's normal for it to fall out.
No, but
your hair falls out, but it's so tiny. It's like 0.5 centimeters long. No one's gonna know. You drop it, and it's just like
The thing that made me laugh about this was like living with a gerbil. That made me laugh.
Has that person had a pet gerbil?
Potentially.
Obviously, clearly.
Actually, I don't think that person has. You remember, I know these people. But anyway,
from no experience.
So the next one is this came up a few times actually. It's chipped nails from the salon, but someone else has said missing nails. So like when like they've got one, like say they got is it acrylics? Is that what they're called? And they've got one missing.
When it snaps off.
And then another person said, you know, like when you got nail varnish and it's chipped.
Yeah, I hear that. I think...
And the thing is...
I don't think any girl... Okay, you've got to understand, no girl wants to be walking around with chipped nails or if an acrylic... Or if a nail is missing, honestly. Guys, I've been wearing press-ons and I've been out at dinner and nails have popped off. Like, honestly, it's the most mortifying, awful thing in the world. No one wants to be walking around with that. So don't worry. It's not an ick specific to boys. We hate it as well.
No. Do you know what the thing is? Human. No, shall I tell you what? I think with acrylics, it's also, quite different. No.
Because she does stuff, you know?
No. She's a hard worker.
Yeah,
she's a grinder.
She washes dishes and the nail salon failed her.
Yeah, potentially. But what I was going to say is, with acrylics, this is me, I would probably say, you know what? It's like, it's hard because if you lose one, then you've got to book an appointment. It's hard to get it replaced. So, you know, you might be caught on an off day where that's happened. But the nail varnish chipped one, that one, I don't know, man. It just wipe it off. You get the pads and the nail varnish remover and just do that.
Yeah, obviously,
do you know what I mean?
fine. But like if it's chipped, like it could honestly be like a day where like I've had my nails painted at the salon and then I've been out, like during the day it's just chipped and then I'm just out. Like literally I picked up a book in Waterstones and my nails are chipped. Like, what do you want me to do?
Oh, okay.
Like they just do. I think it's something about the heat. Maybe it's something about the heat.
Yeah, maybe. But it's fine. It's fine. It's not a huge problem. But it's just funny. That was just one of them. Another one which I didn't really understand this, when their toes touch the floor in open toe heels. And I feel like I've seen something like this before, but I was just so like out of the box. I didn't even think of something like that. Oh my God,
I would never think about that. Do you know what it is? It's just when
is that a case of buying heels that are too small
they're
for your
either
feet?
too small, or do you know some heels, like if your heels are so high,
your foot is just
your
out.
foot is just pushed right to the front and they're just hanging on for dear life. Like, do you think that any girl wants to be stepping on the floor when she's got her heels on? No.
Oh,
what can you do?
Okay,
you bought the heels that are in your size and they pushed your foot to the front, not what I paid for. But that's what I'm stuck with now.
Do you know what? It's like I said, it's not something that I've ever thought of or ever seen. I don't know. I feel like I have seen it, but I can't think of a time where I've seen it.
I mean, it's just as bad as, when you see, like, I mean, I'm going to say, like, dads and uncles, not my dad and not my uncles, but, yeah, dads and uncles that will be, like, wearing sliders where, like, their foot is, like, so far forward in the slider. It's basically that. But with heels, and when you look at it, you're like, oh, my God.
Yeah. I get what you mean. Speaking of heels, when they do that dinosaur walk in heels...
Dinosaur walk,
and I can picture it as well. It's like basically it's
little
when they
steps.
Can't. No, it's not little steps. It's they can't. It's like when they can't walk properly. I think in heels, and then they're taking like kind of like large, almost waddling kind of steps. So it's just, I guess, a lack of experience in walking in heels. But
yeah, or hills.
It's hills? No.
Yes.
Listen, I've seen you climb up hills and you do not do any.
Not climbing up. It's not the climbing up. It's the climbing down.
Even
it's
climbing
not even,
down.
I don't know why we're saying climbing.
But I'm going to assume this is in regards to flat ground.
Yeah.
And I guess it is just an inexperience in heels, and I can understand why that probably would be a bit unattractive.
Also,
but what can you do?
You've got a dinosaur walk to be able to glide. Okay, how else are you going to learn?
Quote of the day.
Practice.
You've got to dinosaur walk in heels to survive. Glide. Or to glide. Right, okay. The next one I've got is singing the wrong lyrics to a song. And then here's the best part. And they start fuming when you call them out on it.
Oh my God.
So it's like, I'm wrong. And then I'm going to double down on being wrong because how dare you tell me that I'm wrong.
Do you know what it is? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to be told. Also, maybe that is the word. I don't need you to Google to tell me that this is the lyric. Do you know most of the time I'm actually the person that's saying that that's not what the lyric is? Yeah, usually I'm genius.
No, but I'm just saying, like, can you imagine, like, the girl, like, why are you being... It's not... We're here to have a good time.
Don't ruin my vibes with the right lyrics. I've gone, like, 10 years of my life thinking that song has those lyrics. Like, why are you telling me what they really are? I don't want to know.
No, you're not
I don't need to know.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. This one I've not really seen, but to be honest, I don't really think it's much of an ick, but obviously this person thinks it is when they use TikTok language such as period or it's giving.
Oh, come on. Just let people have their fun. Let people have their fun. There is so much stuff that guys will say that's like from football Twitter or that's from like, I don't know, they'll say stuff that's even been like on Love Island or whatever it is. No one is telling you stop saying that. I think that's just someone who's a bit old. You're giving old soul because it's always the oldies that are hating.
Do you know what the thing is? That one I'm not really.
Also, it's giving like none of that is. It's not going to hurt you.
If it's someone's ick, it's someone's ick. But the thing is, what I would say is that I think it's when because everyone will. We spoke about this last episode, right? Or the episode before. We spoke about language we pick up from shows we watch or whatever, right? So I think everyone does it, but then can you imagine like talking to someone and every 5 seconds they were like, it's giving. Oh, what's the weather like today? It's giving hot.
I say it's giving.
Where are we going for dinner? What do you think of dinner? Oh, it's giving spicy. Like, do you know what I mean? It'd be annoying if someone overdone it. I can imagine that. Maybe. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it just every sort of description, it's giving this. Like,
but I don't think they're saying that they've overdone it.
Widen your vocabulary.
I think they're just saying if they do it at all.
Yeah, maybe.
No one cares about your opinion, period.
The other one is, this one's kind of funny. And I'm curious to find out where this person has seen this, but seeing someone chase after seeing someone chase after a coin they dropped.
I'm not convinced that any girl has done that ever.
I think they have.
No, they haven't. I've seen men running after coins and they're rolling on the floor. 10p.
Anyway,
but that is really funny. It's just a bit embarrassing.
Clapping when the plane lands.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. First of all, it's not always girls because I've seen guys do it as well.
No, definitely.
People are just herds. I'm not vibing and will never vibe with clapping for when a plane lands.
No, never. But it's just
awkward.
funny.
It just makes things awkward for
everyone. But it's funny. That one was a funny one.
But that is really funny.
Hold on. And then the last one was obsessions with astrology.
Look, I think...
Go on, what? Let people believe what they want to believe.
A boy loves to see an astrology girl coming. Boys really hate to see astrology girls coming. Honestly, everyone has their things. Okay, everyone has their things. I think, yeah, if the astrology girlies want to talk it up, they never... Do you know the problem is...
No, do you know what it is?
The problem is they will always pick a fault in you and they'll say, oh, it's because you're this. Which actually, in a way, is better for you.
No,
because
do you know what it is?
Excuse.
It's like...
And it's not because you're a bad person. No. It's because you're a Libra or a Taurus.
Do you know what it is?
Whatever.
Again, I think this is where you get those extreme situations because, like, can you imagine you're just talking to someone and then you go, oh, yeah, I really like thrillers, like when it comes to reading books, right? I love reading a thriller. Oh, such a Taurus.
Yeah, such a Scorpio.
Oh, such a Taurus. You're such Scorpio behavior. Like, shut up. No, it's not.
Listen, if the girls want to read the stars and they want to live by the stars, I don't personally, but let people have their things.
I will definitely say that is actually probably the worst one is astrology. That is actually probably the most actual realistic. Because again, it's...
stars.
Oh my God. A million miles away.
Yeah, I don't know. Let people have their things.
But I think, yeah, we had some really good ones though. We had some funny ones. I'm actually looking forward to hearing what the girls have to say.
Well, the girls are going to have plenty. I think there's too many. That's what the problem is. I've literally seen like lists and they're like... swiping.
No, do you know what? There's a guy on TikTok and his account is basically he will go through like random, like I don't know, girls posting about their icks, and he put it up and he gets the most ridiculous ones, and then he adds to the list of like what not to do, basically. And like someone would be like, "Oh my God, I hate it when a guy uses a microwave," and then so he goes into his list and he goes, do not use a microwave around girls or something like that. And it's just so funny.
One that I did actually hear about, I can't remember where I heard this. I think I heard it at work. A guy had said he gets an ick when he sees a girl taking 2 steps at a time.
On the steps, right?
Oh my God, yeah. Do you know how unfair that is? Listen, have you seen some of these tube stations? The amount of steps, the escalators, then there's steps to come out, then there's steps to go in, then, you want to take the Piccadilly line, another set of steps.
I don't think that's
what
necessarily...
do you want us to do?
I think that's not necessarily down to maybe like girls. I feel like maybe that's just short people in general because
they
like
want everyone to trot,
you're doing like lunges, like because if you're taking two steps, right, you're kind of like quite tall, but it's when I would say when it's a short person trying to take 2 steps, they're like proper lunging for it, so it's like
let them lunge.
It's a little bit icky, isn't it? But
Unfair.
not too sure.
Very out of left field, that one. When I saw that, I was just thinking, wow, luckily I'm married, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. We don't have to deal with any of this.
Okay, so something else that I wanted to talk about was, I know we're like coming to the end of wedding season now, but basically, a girl, I think it was Twitter, she had posted about it, and she basically said, so how would you feel if you were late to RSVP to your friend's wedding, and then by the time that you RSVP'd, she said that your +1 couldn't come because there was no room left? How would you feel? I mean, she was saying like,
so she can come.
She was saying from a girl's perspective, as in like you can come, but it could be the other way around for you. Like, let's say like one of your friends has invited you to a wedding. I mean, it'd be tragic. I'd be staying home, but let's say that then, because I'd be your +1 then, right? So what it would be is you were late to RSVP. He said RSVP by whatever, it's 2 weeks late, basically, you're RSVPing, and then by the time you've RSVP'd, it's like, well, actually, yeah, that seat for summer's gone now, so you can't bring her.
The thing is, I think we can't really use us as a scenario because we're married. I feel like if anyone invites either you or me, unless they're saying no partners, right? But to be honest, we've not really come across anything like that per se. Although, but yeah, unless they said no partners, I feel like anyone who invites me, you're gonna get an automatic invite, so you'd be kind of in there. You wouldn't be a +1. It'd be Hassan and someone attending.
Yeah.
So, but I find that quite so. Okay, so basically, the person can come, but their +1 can't.
But their +1 can't. So there's no +1 anymore.
I don't think it's a big deal.
I don't think it is a big deal because the thing is,
because you've RSVP'd late.
Yeah, you'd be fuming about it as the person who'd been invited, but you were late. You were late, babe. You were too late.
It's interesting.
And if you had just RSVP'd on time, the thing is, I get it. Like, I actually think sometimes...
But then I've never thought about that. That's like because, you know, like when we planned our wedding, right? And I know, for example, for the reception, like our day, the Velima, we kind of done numbers based on like, okay, we need space because we're inviting this many people, if that makes sense. And so... like, for example, some of my mates with their partners, they are, I guess, technically classed as a +1, but we've counted them as 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think
I think when we did families, we've counted them as families.
But I don't think Asian weddings are a good example.
No. So wait. So let me finish. Let me land. What I was going to say is, so it's quite interesting to have a concept where you're like, okay, so we're going to invite, I don't know, Mr. Bilal Smith, right? And Bilal Smith and Mrs. Bilal Smith as well, +4. But then basically, if you guys don't RSVP in time, you're going to lose that 4.
Yeah, that +4.
Or if you don't, it's because that's basically essentially what it is. It's like offering everyone a +4, but if you don't RSVP in time, you're going to lose the +1. That's actually quite interesting.
But then I think the thing is, sometimes it happens where it could be that someone who isn't going to bring a +1, and let's say you've got like a friend group, and actually you've not caught up with one specific friend in like 6 months or something. In that time, she's now with someone. And then, and then she says, well, actually, I'm with someone now, so am I okay to bring him? And then you'd say, well, sure. And in that time, then that might be the person that takes your other friend's +1, but you've not done it intentionally. It's just, you've thought, oh, okay, fine. But in the other time, let's say your family and your extended family are RSVPing, then your partners, like your husband-to-be's, like all their family are RSVPing, and you've literally got, it's one friend. The thing is, it's very unlikely that it's going to happen to more than one person, but I can see why it would happen. I think it's just like right now, I would say, I don't know. I feel like UK weddings are so,
I think it would be more harsh.
They're so tight on numbers because everything is done by head. Whereas like, I think if you've got like a smaller venue, but you're sort of like, oh, okay, we're going to extend it for like 50 people for the reception, for example. You might have a white wedding during the day and then 50 people extra at the reception. It might just be that you're one of those people who's with the 50, but because everyone else RSVP before you, they got their +1.
No, but the thing is, that's what the thing is that...
out of time.
I don't think it's an issue because basically they have... they're still able to go. I think it would be peak if you RSVP'd late and they said, sorry, no, you can't come. That would be way worse.
You're uninvited.
That would be way worse. But I think it's okay. But that's an interesting thing. I've never thought about that in terms of where you have, like, let's say you have concrete number of 300 people that can attend the wedding, and then you go, right, we've got 200 definites, and then we're going to give those 200 people +1s, but whoever RSVP'd first gets their person in. That would be crazy. Carnage, but it'd be like... a good way to shave numbers down, because if you think about it, if you've got 200 people, they all want to bring a +1, that's 400. Whereas if you give them first come, first serve, but you've only got 100, you're cutting 100 people out.
Yeah, I mean...
Could be a way to save some money.
Definitely. I think the only thing that I would say is, though, if you're denied the +1, but you were late RSVPing, and that's the reason why you got denied it, you can't also turn up and be moody.
No.
It doesn't give you license to be in a mood, because... You can't be annoyed. It's your fault.
Yeah, exactly.
It's your fault. It's sad, but it's your fault. And also, like, go and mingle. Go and be like a good guest and go and mingle.
Social butterfly. Go and chat to everyone.
Chill with everyone. Yeah, enjoy the day.
Right. Okay. Let's move on to another wedding story.
Okay.
So basically, I saw this on TikTok, and I just thought I want to talk about it with you and get you guys, your guys' opinion as well, and just see what you think about this and whether it's acceptable or not. Right. So this girl, she had her wedding, and it was like a white sort of traditional church wedding, and then they had a reception after, and obviously the bride's worn like this white amazing ball gown. One guest, and she's like, I don't know, a distant cousin or something,
right,
has showed up to the wedding in a white dress, right?
Oh.
But it's not just a white dress. It has a small little, is it a train or a tail?
A train?
Is it like, it's like a little bit that drapes at the back. What's that called?
I feel like it would probably be a tail. A train's like longer.
Okay, no. So apparently it wasn't super long, but there was like a little thing. I can't remember.
And it's completely white, and it doesn't have like any print or anything.
No, completely white. And so then basically what happened is, I also think she didn't come to the ceremony. I think she came to reception. But basically what the bridesmaids and the groomsmen proceeded to do was slyly drop red wine onto her dress.
Right.
And slyly like just trample it to make it dirty. And basically by the end of the night, apparently the girl was like really like confused so she didn't even pick up that people were doing this as to how her dress was so dirty.
Right.
She was like, oh my God, like this dress is filthy. What the hell? So like she didn't really know why or how it had been done. But that's what they did, basically, because obviously they were like, nah, you can't be in pure white, basically, when it's the bride. That's the bride's colour kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that was their sort of way of
getting her back,
I guess. Now, what are we saying about this? Because...
Do you know the thing is, I would just never... What has entered your head? Because I think you're going back to, like, the thought process of, like, when you know that a wedding is coming up, as a girl, you are... I don't know what most girls are, but I feel like I would start looking for a dress about like, let's say 4 or 5 months in advance, maybe if you're like cutting it and you're thinking, right, okay, it's like March now, but the wedding's actually in July. So at that point, no summer dresses are out. You're looking for a dress from then. Are you really telling me out of all of your whole wardrobe and all of the websites and any brand that you could see, the only dress that you could find is a white dress, also a white dress with a train? It's not even like a cute little white mini dress with frills or like anything that looks a bit...
Here's the thing, right? With Asian weddings, right? I think it's easy to make this mistake because Asian weddings, I know traditionally on the wedding day they wear red.
Yeah.
But nowadays people wear different colors. Like you'll see on wedding days,
pink or green,
silver, gold, like a champagne peach color.
Yeah.
Like there's so many like variety of colors that girls wear on their wedding day in Asian culture. So I can understand it's even a bit confusing, but from our experience of us attending Asian weddings, we normally like shoot a message to someone and say, yo, like what kind of color is the bride wearing? Are we okay to wear this color? You do a bit of due diligence, right? You do a little bit of a check. But when it comes to like traditional sort of like Christian weddings, right? The bride will 9 times out of 10 wear
wearing white.
So, you know.
What were you thinking, babe? First of all, does that cousin secretly hate you? Is she jealous of you? Because why have you turned up in a white dress? It's not even just that it's a white. It doesn't have a print on it. It doesn't have.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I've seen people wearing like off-white, maybe like a cream, but then it's completely covered in like purple flowers or something. Yeah. Honestly, fine. I haven't seen. It's not young girls. It's usually like
older women.
Yeah, like aunties or whatever, because that's so obvious that it's
not. But then do you think what they did was okay? Do you think it was okay for them to do that?
I don't know about the spilling red wine. I can hear the trampling because I feel like fine. But then I also just kind of feel like you're not, I don't know. The thing is, I feel like if someone was doing it at my friend's wedding, I would definitely be thinking like, what the hell have you done? And why are you doing that? Why have you worn that? Why have you worn that? Why are you here? What thought process has gone through your head? I don't really know, but I would not be the type of person that would do that.
So here's the thing, right? If I was at any of my boys' weddings or any of your girls' weddings, and that situation occurred, if they told me to do it, I'd do it.
Okay, villain.
I would be like, because obviously think about it. If I'm going to any of my boy's wedding, I'd be as well, probably part of the groomsmen, right? Like I'm talking about close friends here. And again, you would, if we're any of your close friends, you'd probably be a bridesmaid, right? So it'd be a case of, it's like, you need a job doing, you got to do it, right? You're part of the bridal party or the groom's party.
I think I'd be more likely to do it if it was a friend and not a distant relative.
No,
if it's a relative,
I wouldn't.
Like, let's say if whatever, this story that this girl's been like telling, it's like, I don't know, it's a third cousin or a fourth, that person's still their family and also you're still their friend. So it could backfire on you. Someone else, another relative could see you. Yeah, you could get in trouble over it. I don't.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying if the bride was like a distant relative. No,
I was saying if the person that's done it is a distant. If they're related, then I mean it's so tragic because you've got a hater in your family, basically. But
no, but the thing is, really and truly, like the thing is, if you look at it like this, when are you going to see these people again? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it's not that. You can end up in their family's bad books. That's your really close friend. That's fine. Tragic.
It's all right. No, I wouldn't actually. No, I wouldn't. Think about it. If like, say
they
for
would
example,
be hating it, but also
wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't end up. You wouldn't. If you think about it, look. If you look at it like this, yeah. If say, I'm trying to think. Let's say what like one of your like closest friends, they're getting married. This happens to them. And they're like, oh God, and you guys are all talking, and I'm like, and then they're like, someone just needs to go and just accidentally drop the thingy on them. And then they look at me and they go, Hass, you do it. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do it because whatever, like I'll go with like some cranberry juice or whatever, because I'm not going to have wine, right? So I'll go with cranberry juice or I'd take some curry and drop it on there a little bit. And then I would make it look accidental. I wouldn't make it look deliberate. And the thing is, you got to remember, everyone close to the bride,
it's going to be annoying. Annoyed at it. Yeah.
Her dad, her mom, her sisters, all of that. They're all going to think, why has Suzanne from, XYZ...
Bloody Suzanne turned up in that white dress.
Why has she turned up in that white dress to ruin my daughter's day? And then they're going to look at this handsome hero. He's come...
And thrown stew on her dress.
He's done it by accident. They're thinking, what a happy accident that is. What a happy accident. And then I'll be remembered in their family as the hero that saved the day.
Okay, I'll give you that. Maybe. Yeah.
So so it's acceptable, is that what we're saying?
I think it can be, yeah. If it's done subtly, then yeah.
Okay, fine. Right. Yeah. Okay, cool.
FPL.
I actually think this is actually
fantasy football.
I think this is
super soccer.
I actually think this is actually
Actually, yes.
I think people enjoy hearing about this.
Okay, well, I hope so.
I think no,
It'll
because
be so funny now if people are like,
we hate. Yeah, please talk.
No more FPL.
I think they like I think they like the competition because I think a lot of the girls root for you.
Yeah.
They just want to see you win.
My girlies.
And obviously the boys. I mean, I don't really think they. I think the they want to see you win. I think they want to see you win as well. So it's
the people's princess.
It's everyone against me. Right. Okay.
Anyway,
so
it's okay. Don't be
basically, FPL. The scores are tied.
Yeah, the scores are tied, guys.
Where we are right now,
I could not be prouder. We've done. I mean, you've battled valiantly, and I have surged ahead.
Guys, I just want to say
all of those minutes and hours of me sitting and reading the Scouts articles has finally paid off. As well as using my strategic brain to say no to some of their suggestions to transfer sometimes. Whereas last season, anytime they told you to transfer someone in, they were like, oh, this week's a really good week to get in Winks. And I'd be like, okay, fine, bring him in. And then nothing would happen. I actually didn't have Winks on my team last season, but anyway. But this season, I have been patient. I have researched. And I have critically thought. And it has paid off.
It has in some ways. Anyway, basically, first to give you a proper in-depth update, we are game week 8 is just started, and we've only had a few games, and so that's where we're at. So we've had 7 game weeks, and we're tied 3 points apiece, because essentially what we do is basically whoever gets the highest point points in a game week gets 1 point, wins
yeah.
that week. So yeah, so we're all tied.
We've had a few weeks. We've had 2 weeks, I think, where we week
we've had 1 week. We've had 1 week where we've tied, and then I've won 3. Summer's won 3. So we're fully level, and we're in. Like I said, we're in game week 8 now. And yeah, no, Summer has done fantastic. She's done really well. And yeah, I've had basically 2 back-to-back weeks where I've done absolutely stinky. And yeah, it's made me have to rethink. And yeah, I am fuming because I have Morgan Rogers on the bench and he's just scored. But I have brought in Raul Jimenez and he's just scored. So that's what we're talking about live.
Why did you bring him in? That's such a random transfer.
Who, Jimenez?
Yeah.
Because his next few fixtures are quite easy, and he's been doing
right.
So,
okay.
So,
okay, fine.
Strategic thinking. But yeah, you've smashed it.
Yeah, I've been having a good time. I'm still not convinced that literally turning my whole team upside down just to get Haaland in has worked for me, because I have not had. Okay, we've been on international break. The week before that was the week that I brought him in, guys. I finally caved because I saw chunks saying, come on, guys, you've got to just bring him in. You've got to just bring Haaland in. Stop kidding yourselves. And then that week, did I kid myself? Yes. Because did I captain him? Yes. Did he score? No. So
I actually think... Cause
and that was the week that I transferred out. Game week 6, I transferred out Cole Palmer for Haaland, and Cole Palmer scored a hat-trick.
No, he scored 4.
3+1. Oh my god.
He scored 4. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie.
I said I'm really happy.
It's actually so funny. No, because it's actually so funny, right? Because she was under all this pressure, and she was like, and by the way, I just want you guys to know, right, is that she was killing it without Haaland, and she's still killing it now. She's still doing really well now.
I was kind of enjoying.
She was doing really well, and then she caved, and she was like, you know what? Fine, I'll get Haaland in, and then basically she's brought him in. He's blanked 2 game weeks in a row, and Cole Palmer, one of the guys she sacrificed to get him in, scored 4 goals, and then I think in the game week after he scored a couple as well.
He scored 2.
So yeah, so like it's actually really quite peak.
It's a hard pill to swallow, especially because, do you know what it is? I was really enjoying. Do you know, I've always had this thing where like the more people tell you to do something, the less I want to do it. So like I use the same example, but like basically when all the Twilight films came out, we were in school and people were just talking about it. And I hadn't been to go and see the first one. I don't even think I had read the books at this point. But anyway, so people are like talking about it. The more they talked about it, the less I wanted to see it and the less I wanted to care about it. But obviously Bella and Edward and no one could talk about anything else literally for like weeks. And I don't think I watched Twilight until like a year after it came out. Or like 2 years, because the hype, sometimes when people hype things up, it makes you want to like have them less. But the problem was with Haaland was like carrying teams like for the first half of like, well, I don't know, for most of all of last season before he got injured. So like, I think the thing is I understand the logic behind, like you should bring him in. But also the problem was that week, all the scout articles were saying that all the prices were going up. So then you're thinking, well, I've barely got enough money anyway. I'm already like 0.2 mil in the bank. Do I really want to risk it where Haaland's going to go up like another 1.5 mil and I'm definitely not going to be able to afford him then. But I think I transferred out 3 people to get him in.
Right.
I did so many reshuffles. Now my defense is literally made up of like 4 million players. Which obviously I'm not saying that's not good. You've done, but listen, it's just you've got Saka, Salah and Haaland, 3 really big players, but 3 really expensive players. And so far, the only return I'm seeing is on Starboy Saka.
Yeah, no, I don't
even think I've not seen a return on Salah that's massive.
What are you talking about? You've had Salah from the start.
No, I have, but I've not seen a return on him that's like huge. Last year when I had him, he was like, it was crazy.
No, the thing is what you've got to remember is its consistency, and its consistency across the season. That's what you need, and that's what you need as many players. And the art of FPL, I guess, is that when someone stops being consistent, you need to bring someone in who is consistent. Yeah. So that's what it is. And that, like, so in terms of Salah, for you, if you actually probably span it across the seven games that you've had him for,
then he's been really good.
Then he's done good. And again, with Saka, he's probably across those 7 games, he's done good. Because you've only had Haaland in for 2 weeks and he's done absolutely nothing for those 2 weeks, it's been a little bit bad for you in that sense.
Well,
but
he's on the
whereas,
edge
whereas
because
if you look
know
at
my
where if
rule
you look
of
at
3
me,
weeks, if it's 3 weeks and he's doing nothing, in about a week or 2 weeks time, he's gonna be out.
The thing is, so with like for example, when you look at Haaland, for me, across those 7 weeks, he smashed it because he had 3.
Team, yeah,
because he had 3 weeks. 3 weeks, he's done. I just looked at it now. He did like it was like 34 points, 26 points. Because I captained him as well. But those 3
I was
so
going
like,
to say, there's definitely out of the two of the weeks that you've won because he's carried your team.
And the worst thing is, I think there was one game, I think he scored like 2 goals and he could have scored 6. And I watched the highlights. He could have scored 6. So he is a bit of a freak. So
we'll see.
So it's basically the update essentially is that it's really competitive. It is really tight, which I'm really proud.
Surprised.
I am surprised because it's actually making me think. I'm surprised, but I'm like really excited and really proud as well because I think you've done really well and you're like it's crazy.
Well, I can add FPL to my CV now, guys. Start FPL player.
Can you imagine? Imagine like going like into like I don't know.
I'm going to be doing FIFA Ultimate
if you ever
Team
did
now.
like
Next.
That I really want to see. I want to see you play Ultimate Team. That would be amazing.
But yeah, I don't know.
You know what? Also,
it's fun. I think so far this season it's been fun. Honestly, last season there were definitely times when I was like pulling my hair out.
But the thing is,
because nothing was working.
The reason why, it's
whereas
like,
I think now I'm hanging back a bit more. I'm being less. I think because I'm being less reactive. I think in the end it's kind of working out. It's jarring, but it's kind of working out. Whereas I think last season, if I saw someone who is doing really well and they were not in my squad and someone in my team's not doing well, I would just transfer them out straight away, and then obviously the opposite would happen. So now I'm a bit more like it's fine, whatever.
It's like it's like in this game week I've put Morgan Rogers on the bench because I don't know, I had like a feeling like maybe he won't do anything, and he scored in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Sad.
So it's peak.
Don't worry about it. Never mind.
So
someone who won't be on my bench will score for me. So yeah, don't worry.
Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, 2 of my players don't start. Havertz doesn't start, and then Ashley Young hasn't started, by the way, and I've got him on my team. So if those 2 don't play, and then I've got those 2 subs coming on. So
hopefully
happy days.
Ashley Young plays. Come on, Ashley Young, get on the pitch.
Do you know what? I was also going to say, I also think you know more about players in the Premier League than I do.
I don't
because you read all the reports. So I base my judgment over what I watch at probably Arsenal games. So or even so, for example, I watched Arsenal versus Aston Villa, and I saw how good Rodgers was in that game, and I thought, oh my god, this guy's ridiculous. If he plays like this every game, I'll have him. And then I kept him in. And the thing is, I think it took 2 game weeks where he blanked, and then after that he got an assist, and then after that I think he got a goal the game week after. So it was good investment because he's cheap as well.
But I do think I can see why watching matches would help though, because when we went to that Brighton game and I watched Matoma on the pitch, I was thinking, I was like, this guy is dangerous because he's quick.
Yeah.
And like he's so nimble. But that's why I think it works with FPL if you watch a lot of football just in general, because you're already seeing them
but
on
the thing
pitch.
is also like it's interesting because there's different takes, right? Because you've got the eye test, which is what we're talking about now, going to watch a football game or watching it on TV. You've got the eye test.
Yeah.
But you are basically, a lot of your decisions is coming from stats, and you're looking at it from a pure clinical statistical numbers point, because you've even mentioned you brought in McNeil because of his threat level or something like that.
Yeah, because his threat level's so high, guys.
Yeah, so like, and it's like, so that's what I'm saying. And then you brought him in and he returned straight away.
Yeah, he was
so
really
so
well
you've made like
shout out McNeil. What a star.
So like no, you've done amazing, and it's interesting as well because yeah, man.
Only time will tell.
I love it.
In the wise words of Justin from The Hills, who you don't know who he is, but anyone that watches The Hills will know, truth and time tells all.
There we go. That's
Stats
the quote.
And time.
Is that the quote of the day?
Will get me to the win.
Was it truth and
time tells all?
Truth and time tells all. Let's see if the truth and the time will see you as a winner or a loser.
I hope so.
Okay, right. So let's
books.
Yes, we're going to finish today's episode with 2 book recommendations. And yeah, we're going to tell you a little bit how we felt reading these books, and we'll give you a little bit of info on the books. And yeah, like we can definitely recommend them, right?
Yeah.
So let's start off with The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
Guys, when I tell you this book, you cannot read it and not love it. Like, I'm sorry, if you read it and you don't love it, I'm judging you so hard, because this book is so interesting because it's unlike anything I've ever read.
It is amazing.
I truly believe it's by V.E. Schwab, by the way. It's called The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And yeah, I think basically what I would say is it was a book recommendation from TikTok, first of all. So like, I think with Book Talk, you got to be a bit careful because some books are like really hyped, but this was 100% worth the hype.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say it's really good. I would say it's a slow read, so it's not like there are sections of the book where it's a page turner and you're really, really looped in, but it is a bit of a slow read. But what I would say is it's a really nice read.
I think it's like a settle into the story read is like how how I described it.
Because I remember
we can talk
reading
we can talk a little bit about the plot. This is not like, we're not gonna like give anything away, guys.
Essentially, I'll give a rough guide of what the plot is. Rough overview. So
just so we're not talking about something that
exactly. So the rough overview is it's about obviously a girl called Addie LaRue. Essentially, she wants more freedom in her life, and she makes a deal with the devil in quotation marks, right? And basically she then ends up with a curse, and then basically the book is how she deals with the curse and essentially how she beats the curse as well, right? And essentially that is what the book is.
She's on her road to living that life of freedom, but when basically she's got freedom,
but there's it's come at a huge price.
Yeah, massive price. I was gonna say conditional, but I don't even think conditional is the right word. But it's like, it's absolute freedom in a way that you would never even expect. It's like, yeah, no one remembers her, basically. That's actually on the back of on the blurb of the book. And then basically she meets a boy who does remember her, and he's the first person in 200 years who has ever remembered her. And she's just there, and then she's just there thinking, well, why is that? And what's going on?
And then again, even with that, there's a lot of things going on. So it is a, like I said, it's a really good book. For me, when I remember reading it, and I was like, because I'm someone who loves fast-paced books. That's just what I think I prefer. I do enjoy reading slower paced books. Like I did enjoy reading this, but I remember reading it and I was like, oh my god, why is this? Why are we going through this journey? Why are we going through that? But the thing is, when you get to the end,
then you understand.
It just all like I'm not going to say it all makes sense, and you're like, oh cool. You just kind of realize like you kind of can't take those parts out. It's all part of the journey. It's all part of the experience of reading this book. So yeah, like I would 100% recommend it. I think I gave it like a 4.7 out of 5.
I'd say it's 5 out of 5. That book, guys, you know what I'm like? I just eat up books. I did not read anything for like almost 2 weeks, because you know when a book just leaves this mark on like your list of books, and you're just like, do you know what? I just want to savor that feeling. I want to savor that moment when you finish the book. It's got a perfect ending, and those books are so rare, because I actually think like a lot of the time we've finished. I mean, when we've read like, let's say like Verity by Colin Hoover, or like we've definitely read other books where we've thought, oh, they maybe could have ended that like this, or maybe I would have wanted to see this happen, or you get attached to a character and then you want it to have a different outcome, but this just ended perfectly. So if you need a book to add to your list of to be read, I would say this is it. And actually I would say it's like a nice autumny book.
Yeah, it is. It's perfect for the season, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's perfect. And to be honest, you can read it all year round.
Like, settle into the story, but like at points it's like very cozy. It's very, yeah, I think also like I think it's so important to me for like books like this where it's not really real life. So like you're not telling a story which feels like it could be real life. Whereas I think Silent Patient, for example, you know, it's very obvious that it's in a real life setting. That could be anywhere. You could imagine what it would look like. Whereas
I think this is a
you need
perfect
to be able
blend.
to tell the story where you feel like you're in that world, and I felt like you were in Addie's world.
Yeah, no. I think there's a perfect blend between sort of real and then like sort of fantasy. I guess is what you could probably describe it as. But yeah,
really good.
Would 100% recommend it. I think it was a great book. Again, a nice sort of slow but really, really rich story. Yeah. Also, I love the way it was written. I thought like the language and the way everything was described really in it, and everything was amazing. So yeah, that would be a top recommendation, I would say. Now, moving on to our second recommendation. It is The Song of Achilles
by Madeline Miller.
That's what it's called? So The Song of Achilles, a fantastic book-ish. I liked it. I liked it a lot. So let's give a quick overview on this one as well. So essentially, it is about two
Achilles.
guys.
So
it's about Achilles.
Achilles, which
the Greek god.
The Greek god,
Greek god?
I'd say so. Yeah.
In the book, he's not a god, but Achilles,
but known as a Greek god. But basically,
so basically, there's another guy who is his companion, like best friend, partner in crime, whatever you want to call it. And essentially, the story is about. It starts off with his friend, who's named Patroclus or whatever. Yeah. So anyway, it's about him. It starts off with him. He is again he's like a prince in Greek, and he gets exiled, and then he obviously crosses path with Achilles. They obviously form this bond, and then it's about them growing up, and then them going to they get involved where they have to go to war, and they go to battle together
to save Helen of Troy.
To save Helen of Troy.
The face that launched 1,000 ships.
The face that launched 1,000 ships. That's a famous quote, apparently. But anyway, yeah. So it's about that. They go on this battle, and it's how they change as people when they're in battle. Because Patroclus, he changes a lot, and Achilles changes a lot. So it's a lot of it's a lot of
character building
in that sense. And then obviously it comes to the end, and then it finishes, and that's essentially the story. But I would say it's a really good, this is my opinion now. I think it's a really good story, really well written.
Beautifully written.
Yeah, it's really I don't know, it's nice. It's again, there's certain aspects of the book where it's like a proper page turner, and there's some parts where it's it's quite slow, and it's quite, you're sort of building things up. My issue is that you've got the main story, and then you've got loads of little side stories. My thing is they don't complete the side stories. So there's certain things at the end you're like, oh, well, what happened with that? And it's almost it's details probably to do with the battle and stuff like that. But there are little parts where you're like, oh, what happened with that? And what happened with that? But overall, the main story itself about the two main characters, a really good story. And it is really nice. Yeah. And I would recommend it. I think I rated it 3.75, which is
not very high, but do you know,
it's above average. That's what I would say.
No,
because average is 2.5.
Yeah, okay.
So it's above average.
I think for me, I think it was 4 out of 5, but I think it's because I think sometimes it's not very often really that I feel dissatisfied with characters and how their stories turn out, and I didn't really feel like that with this, because I think it really is. I think you've heard that phrase where people describe books as devastatingly beautiful. I think that's how the story of Achilles and Patroclus is kind of, how that's painted, and how you kind of see them grow and evolve and change. Hassan's biggest bugbear, guys, was actually that they never talk about how or whether Helen.
It was the outcome of the war.
It was whether Helen was rescued. But we were talking about this, and basically the thing is, I understand why you feel like that. But the point of the story is not for them to. This is not a spoiler, by the way, guys. The point of the story is not for them to tell you whether or not they rescued Helen of Troy, because actually, that doesn't really. Helen doesn't have a tie to Achilles.
No,
so the
it's not. But that's not the
nothing,
problem. No, because that is the battle. That is the battle they have gone to. That is what has led to all of their change, all of their everything.
Yeah.
Right. What has you know, is led to how it ended, right, was due to that. Was the cause even worthy? That's the point, right? You want to know.
Was it worth it?
Exactly. Well, so it's I don't know. Like, I feel like I think for me, there's an element where it was really well written. You've got this really, really nice story, and I have a feeling, and it just felt a bit like the ending was rushed. And the ending is like, oh my god, like what else can we do now?
I mean,
Let's fill it in with some stuff.
only other thing that I would say was there are parts of it that are actually really funny.
Oh my god, yes.
So funny. I think within like a book where like comedy is not like the main theme, I think it's just so funny where like you just read some stuff and you're actually laughing out loud because
there was a few times where that happened, where I was like just cracking up at some of the random stuff in there. But yeah, I would still recommend it. I'd still recommend it. Again,
I like the writing style as well. I think it's easy to...
Not
I don't
super
think it's
fast
difficult
paced.
to digest.
No. No. That's actually how, now you made me remember. There are parts where you are a little bit at a loss, where you're trying to keep up with characters and stuff.
Yeah, but I think that's more
that was a bit irritating.
I think it's a bit different if you kind of are aware of like what was going on, right? Like around Achilles' time, because other people will know more. I don't know if you've read like Greek fiction or fiction around like...
It wasn't like detrimental. It's just like you got to keep kind of reading, and then sometimes there was a few parts where I had to reread as well.
Like,
there was a few points
where
even you had to reread.
Yeah, I think I would say you've got to get to know characters who other people might actually know who they are, so they might understand who they are. If that makes sense. Yeah, but you're looking at
it. Listen, I don't think every single person's a Greek mythology expert, so they're not going to know everything anyway. So look, it's like I said, I would say it's above average. It is a good book. I would recommend to read it.
I think it's a good read,
because
guys.
Overall it is a nice story.
And also, cool. We even forgot to say, the day that we bought it, we were in Daunt Books in
and some American lady came over.
And a lady actually walked. Hassan literally had it in his hand. She was like, "Song of Achilles, what a great book." And that was even before we'd bought it. So I think like just in general, it's quite highly regarded. I actually think, to be honest, the people that I've heard and like seen talk about the Song of Achilles literally bang on about it. But I think it's just because if you're then comparing it to, let's say, like Yellowface, for example,
you can't compare it to that. No, but if you compare it to Addie LaRue is way better.
Yeah,
if you
Addie
compare it to like American Dirt is so much better.
Yeah.
So it's got some. I think it's got some stiff competition, and I think the reason. The few points which we kind of didn't enjoy in terms of the storytelling and the book, like in terms of like where there was areas where there was a little bit hard to follow, and then also the fact that they didn't complete all of the stories
for you,
fit fully for me
all
anyway.
The side quests
all the side quests were not completed, so like that then kind of like drags the rating down in my. That's my opinion though, right? So
yeah, and opinion's obviously subjective. I think the other thing is, so Madeline Miller's actually written another book called Circe, which I've actually read. We'll talk about it another time, but everyone actually always says that Circe is a better
version
read. It's not that it's a better version. I think it's just a better read.
I don't know why I said version, because version wouldn't make sense.
I think it's definitely more highly rated. Yeah, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. So I think, and that's how I felt about it. Okay. I loved Circe. So
once I've
read Song of Achilles first, by the way, guys. Don't read Circe first.
I think
read it in that order, because Circe kind of, it doesn't follow on, but it talks about about things that happen in Song of Achilles, which you kind of need to find out in that book to.
But once I've read Circe, we'll definitely we'll discuss and we'll give you the 411 and we'll give you the update on those books. But yeah, that's it really.
That's it really. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wrap it up, and we're gonna leave you guys with those recs. If you read the books, please let us know. If you buy the books, if you want to borrow the books, for anyone that knows us, let us know. But yeah, I think hopefully that's something for you guys to settle into.
And like I said, let us know your FPL tips. Let us know what you thought of our wedding stories. Let us know in the comments. Get involved. Speak to us.
Yeah.
And we'll leave you with that, and we will see you again next week for our Halloween special. That's coming out next week, so be sure to hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up,
let us know
follow
what you
us
think.
on Spotify, rate us 5 stars,
share it with your friends, share it with your family, play it in the office loudly.
Definitely,
Yeah, love for the love as always, you guys. We will see you guys next week.
See you later. Bye.